Hello and welcome to daily news analysis of the Indian Express and the Hindu. So in this video, we will look at following news items that are mentioned in today's newspapers. And then in the end, we will look at MCQs framed based on today's newspapers. Now, before moving forward, 10 sets under this highly recommended MCQ video series is already out. So if you have not watched these videos, then please go and watch it. It will definitely give a boost to your prelims preparation. Now let us start with today's news items. So news item is some countries support terror as a policy, Modi. So Honorable Prime Minister was speaking at inauguration of No Money for Terror conference that is ongoing in Delhi. So he said that some states support the terrorism by giving financial sources and that is not acceptable, and we must fight together to address the problems of radicalization and extremism. So in that regard, let us see about this conference from prelims point of view. So No Money for Terror conference, its third edition is currently ongoing. Earlier two editions that were held in year 2018 and 2019, where 18 edition was held in France and 19 in Australia. It is participated by more than 70 nations along with various multinational agencies such as Interpol. News item is Punjab government nod for old pension scheme. So recently Punjab cabinet have taken decision to implement old pension scheme by scrapping the new pension scheme that was operational since 2004. Now let us see provisions of old and new pension scheme. So old pension scheme was based on defined benefit, where the beneficiaries were getting pensions that is 50% of last drawn salary, whereas under new pension scheme it is based on defined contribution, where throughout the career both employee and employer, that is government, contribute a fixed amount and that would be given to beneficiary at time of retirement as a lump sum money. So as more and more states are moving towards old pension scheme, it would increase the burden of finance on the state governments, and as a result it would leave very little space on developmental expenditure. Now moving forward, this news item pertains to data bill, draft digital data protection bill tabled for comments. So government has introduced a new digital data protection bill as it have withdrawn the earlier data protection bill 3 months ago. So this bill has certain provisions that are more stringent as compared to previous bill. For example, it poses a hefty penalty of around 500 crore in case of violation. Further, it eases the cross-border data flows, which is a big relief for tech companies. Further, it also narrows the scope of data protection, and data protection is available to personal data, leaving out non-personal data out of its ambit. And further, there is one term that is mentioned in this bill, that is consent manager, which means it is a platform through which users would be able to see number of times one has given the permission to access the data. So basically it will give the records of consent that is given by users for using their data by companies. So this bill has tabled for comments. Let us see the future development in that regard. Forward, there is a good news from space arena, where India's first private rocket lifts off from ISRO's spaceport. So India has recently launched its first rocket that is made by private sector, and this rocket is named after Vikram Sarabhai, Vikram S, and it is developed by a private firm, Skyroot Aerospace Private Limited. So this Vikram S rocket launch vehicle is a single stage solid fueled rocket, and it has successfully completed this test. So this is a great news with respect to participation of private sector in the space arena. Now, this editorial also pertains to space arena, where it uploads the participation of private sector and says that it is a good development that private sector is participating, and it will give a boost to satellites developed by businesses, universities, and private laboratories to hitch a ride on these vehicles so that they can be more technologically advanced in their research and developmental processes. So it says that according to industry data, more than 350 private firms in space sector is already registered in India, and India stands fifth in terms of number of private players. But when it comes to its contribution in the global industry, then it is only 3%. So it says that the government intends to increase its share to 10% by 2030. And this step is a good initiative in that direction. Further, it says that government ISRO has instituted a new institute, a new organization that is in space, which is an independent regulator to enable private companies to participate in space sector. But then it says that there are various constraints with respect to participation of private sector and with respect to scaling. And then it compares India with USA. It says that ISRO launch around 5 satellites in a year as compared to 143 satellites launched by US from SpaceX last year. So we are very far behind. And the one reason that it says that the NASA, that is USA Space Agency, reserves a part of its budget for such private enterprises. So it says that there is a need in India as well that ISRO should provide support to private sectors, should give a hand holding support to private sector in order to excel and in order to be a force reckoned in this world. Now, this item is Supreme Court rejects petition to create independent environment service. So recently, Supreme Court has refused to intervene in creation of environmental service, as it is a work of parliament and not the judiciary to interfere in this process. So this independent environment service idea was mooted by TSR Subramaniam committee report in 2014 in order to boost the work related to environment and to preserve and conserve the environment while fulfilling the goal of development. So just use this fact in mains answer writing that TSR Subramaniam committee report has recommended for independent environmental service. Moving forward, with no consensus yet, COP27 extended by a day. So COP27 that was ongoing in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt was about to be concluded on Friday, but it was extended for one more day due to inability to produce a joint statement after the conference, and that is why it was extended to finalize the draft statement that would be published on official website. So in that regard, this document reaffirms that Paris Agreement commitment should be upheld and countries should ensure that rise in temperature does not exceed 2 degrees Celsius, and as far as possible it should be stay within 1.5 degrees Celsius increase. But the final draft will come day after tomorrow or tomorrow, and then we will see what will be the outcome of this conference. Moving forward, girls being forced into prostitution in Rajasthan, says National Commission for Women. So National Commission for Women has submitted a report, and it has said that Rajasthan had emerged both as a source and destination for trafficking of women, which leads to sexual exploitation and prostitution in Rajasthan. So in that regard, let us see a few facts about National Commission of Women. So it is a statutory body which was formed in 1992 under National Commission for Women Act 1990. And it review the constitutional and legal safeguards for women. Its members and chairmen are appointed by central government via nomination. Now moving forward, India and Russia agrees to deepen cooperation on counter-terrorism at UN. So ahead of India's chairmanship at UNSC in December 2022, India and Russia have agreed to deepen cooperation in a fight against terrorism. Now, currently, India is one of 15 members of United Nations Security Council. So let us see few facts about UNSC. So it is one of 6 organs of United Nations. It consists of 5 permanent members plus 10 non-permanent members. These non-permanent members are elected by United Nations General Assembly, that is UNGA, for a term of 2 years. Currently, India is one of these 10 members and its tenure is between 2021 to 2022. The presidency of UNSC rotates every month, and that is why India for the last time will hold presidency this term in December 2022. Keep these facts in mind. Moving forward, our finance minister said that boost investments in smart technology. AIIB urged. So our finance minister has urged the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank to scale up investment in newer technologies such as renewable energy, smart technologies, so as to give a boost to development in India. Now let us see few facts about Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. So it is a multilateral investment bank and its objective is to improve social and economic outcomes in Asia and beyond. It started its operation in 2015 and its largest shareholder is China, followed by India. And its headquarters is located in Beijing, China. Next news item is related to narco test. So in Delhi murder case, Delhi police will conduct narco test on the accused after taking permission from Delhi court and taking consent of the accused. So in that regard, let us see few provisions of how it works and its constitutional provisions. So this test works based on a drug that is injected in the subject, which then transports the subject into hypnotic state, where the imagination of subject is neutralized and it is expected that the subject would divulge the information that is true. It is also known as truth serum. Now, when it comes to constitutional provisions, then Supreme Court in Selvi and others versus State of Karnataka case has said that first, consent of the subject is required, and second, this cannot be used as evidence or confession. Rather, it can be used to further find out the evidences or various facts of the case to strengthen the case. So just keep these facts in mind. And the last news item is North Korea test intercontinental missile with the range to strike United States. So North Korea have launched second ICBM in recent days, which have landed in Japan waters, and as a result, the US have retaliated and said that it will take all the necessary measures in that regard. So that's all for the news items. Now let us see the last part, that is MCQs. First question is, which are correct statements about Vikram S launch vehicle? It is a two-staged solid fueled launch vehicle. It is developed by private company Skyroot Aerospace Private Limited. And these are your options. So you can pause this video for 10 to 15 seconds, try to attempt this question and then listen to the explanation. So recently, private company has launched the first satellite launch vehicle in India, named after Vikram Sarabhai, Vikram S. It is a single-staged solid fueled launch vehicle. So statement 1 is wrong, and it is developed by a private company Skyroot Aerospace Private Limited. Second is right, so B is right answer. Moving forward, which are correct statements about National Judicial Appointment Commission, that is NJAC? CJI was ex officio chairman of it. It was brought in via 100th Constitutional Amendment Act by Parliament. So as we have discussed yesterday about NJAC, so National Judicial Appointment Commission was brought in by Parliament via 99th Constitutional Amendment Act to replace collegium system for appointment of judges, but it was struck down by Supreme Court in 2015, citing the reason that it violated the supremacy of judiciary, which is part of basic structure. Now, why Supreme Court has said that? Because it consists of 6 members with Chief Justice of India as ex officio chairman and 2 Supreme Court judges, and then 3 members from non-judiciary, and that is why Supreme Court have given verdict to struck it down. So 1 is true, 2nd is wrong, A is right answer. Moving forward, which are correct about Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank? India is largest shareholder in it, followed by China. Its headquarter is located in China. Now, as we have discussed that India is not the largest shareholder, but India is 2nd largest shareholder and China is the largest shareholder. So 1 is wrong. And yes, its headquarter is located in Beijing, China. So B is right answer. Moving forward, which are correct statements about National Commission of Women? It is a constitutional body like National Commission of Scheduled Caste. Its chairperson and members are appointed by central government. So as we've discussed that National Commission of Women is not a constitutional body, but it is a statutory body formed under 1990 Act. Whereas National Commission of Scheduled Caste is a constitutional body formed under Article 338 of Constitution. And its chairman and person are appointed by central government. That is true. So B is right answer. Last question of the day is, North Korea and South Korea are separated by 38th parallel, 28th parallel, 17th parallel, 66th parallel. So it is a factual question. Both North Korea and South Korea are roughly divided by 38th parallel, whereas 17th parallel roughly divides North Vietnam and South Vietnam. So that's all for today. If you find this video helpful, then please like this video and subscribe this channel. Thank you.